Okay, good morning, everyone. I was off yesterday for a mom art project. Sorry, hi. I was off yesterday. I was doing a mom art project for Young at Art. It's a program to get art programs back in schools through parent participation. And so part of the experience is that you go learn how to do the art on like a Tuesday morning. And then on whenever you schedule with a teacher Thursday, I go in and then I help teach the kids how to do the project. So it was such a great experience. There were so many moms. If you guys looked at my post from yesterday, it was huge. I mean, there had to be I don't know, there was over 80, I don't know, 100 moms from the different school districts, from the different schools in our school district. And it was so fun. And I look forward to going to my son's class, his transitional kindergarten class on Thursday to teach him about cubism. And you know what was really fascinating about that experience was that while there's all these parents there and we're all participating and we're all helping our kids learn art, we got to learn ourselves and be creative. And uh, as I'm relearning about cubism, because I took art history in college and I loved art history, I learned about this stuff. But what I loved about it was actually doing it, like the art, the act of doing cubism and what it means as you're drawing it yourself. I would have memorized this stuff so much easier through doing it than trying to memorize why Picasso was actually later in Cubism and Baroque was like more like these phrases. I don't know. I don't even remember, but I learned what Cubism is and how to do it. And what a great experience. Another mom had a good point about just the experience of feeling like we're being creative. So much of our day and our life is doing, right? And being and working. Just taking a minute to be creative is so relaxing. So relaxing to just get to color. And we use pastels and like got our fingers dirty and like got to actually be creative. And gosh, that was just such an enjoyable experience. And I'm excited to share it with my son and his TK class on Thursday. And yeah, so Young at Art is this program that I'm excited to be a part of. And that's why I missed yesterday. But I'm back today, be live again. And today I was thinking about what are the things that I want to share in relation to business ownership, and marketing. And I feel like I need to start like creating a course out of this because I've been sort of just talking about it. And I think there's so much here. And so one of the main things that I said last week was sort of stepping into the feeling of what it is that we want to achieve. What do we want to get? Where do we want to go? And I think that we miss that part a lot when we're building our businesses. We sort of forget in the activity of the doing is what is the goal, what is the direction, and what is the why. And an actual tactical way to do that is to go like look in your dream neighborhood. Like, where would you want to live one day? What does that house look like? What does the neighborhood feel like actually getting yourself there, putting yourself in that physical experience. And a lot of people talk about this. I've read it in several books. A great book that I read was called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And she talks about going to open houses and walking in the house. Like, what would it be like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Like, what does that experience in your body actually feel like? And so as a business owner, again, we're so busy in the doing and in the activity of things that sometimes it's hard to remember why we're doing it. What is our goal? What is the vision that we have for ourselves and the why? And so for me, it's about like the place that I live, like the home, my experience. I'm a Cancer, so apparently that means that I care a lot about the inside of my shell. Like that's part of my genetic or my bone, the inside of me of a Cancer just really cares about like my house and how it feels. And so I think that's true of anyone, but as humans, that feeling that we're looking for is a big component of our why. And so if you just take a couple minutes and think about like, what is the why of this business that I want to do? What is the goal that I want to achieve? And what is the vision? Like, how do I think about the vision of my future and what that entails? And so starting from there gives you an easier platform to jump off from. And so when I talk about it in my talks or in my courses or when I'm talking about voice, it's one of the like core components of having a business because it's understanding our voice. What is the thing that we care about? What is our missions, our values, our statements? And that voice and what we want to say comes from those pieces. So the more we take the time, it's like the idea of manifestation. I've heard once from, I think it was Alex Hermosi, was like, manifestation is bullshit. And I think that he says that just to get a rise out of people because there's no way the guy didn't get everything that he got through manifesting what he wanted. So I think it's because people get hung up in the manifestation of without the doing. It's the two parts. I'm not religious at all, but there's a saying that God only helps those who help themselves. And that's like a faith-based version of this. The manifestation only happens if you take the steps to get there. And so what is the thing that you want and the vision and the view of the goals that you want to achieve? And what are the steps to get there? That's a two-part component of being a business owner. And without one, you're sort of doing and doing and doing. But why? What is the vision? What's the goal? Where are you trying to get to? And that's manifestation. So manifestation without the doing is not going to get you anywhere. That really comes down to voice. And what is that brand? What is that thing that you stand for? What are your core values? What are your core beliefs? And in this very polarizing time in our world, there's so many fundamental things that we do all agree on. And so I think that as we dig into our core of what our mission is, our values, our voice, the things we stand for, and the vision that we want for our lives, has so much in common, right? We have so much in common in that. Like we all want to be able to provide for our families. We all want to be able to have flexibility in our schedule, especially those of us who've been doing this a long time and are adults. Like I always say, you're hiring me as an adult. Like what, if you want to hire me, I'm going to be more like, I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to get the work done and I'm going to exceed expectations always. So as an adult and you're hiring me, right? Like these are core values that I have is that I always over deliver. I always get the job done. I am an adult. You are hiring an adult. And that's the difference, right? Between earlier in our careers as we're learning trades or we're learning things, we need training. We need coaching. We need somebody to help us along the way. You need to have to go into an office and go take training courses or train and learn on your own. But my main point of that is just to be that as we learn who we are and what our values are and what we stand for, that's how we get the platform of which to jump and build our brands. So when we think about that also, for me, once I started to figure out my voice, the first thing, that was my first step is kind of transitioning out of corporate where I felt completely comfortable walking into a room and being able to answer questions about paid ads and how to strategically run your campaigns, what kind of messaging works, how to target your audience, like you name it. Working in corporate, I had done this for so long. My field of expertise, like I could put my hat on and walk into a room and feel completely confident in what I was talking about. The second I left corporate and I was like, oh, I have to build my own business and I have to put my own packages together and I have to figure out how to package and position myself based off myself. It was like, oh my God, why is this so hard? It's so hard. Because now it's based on what I want to do. I get to make up my own rules. I get to decide what I want my business to be. That was hard. It was really hard. Really hard. How many of you heard this? Like anybody? Like how hard it was to go from starting a business and deciding what it is that you're going to sell, what it is that you're good at, what is the thing that you're going to package a position to get somebody to pay you for. And a lot of us don't even want to go because we don't know how to do that. Like the jump out of corporate is terrifying because in corporate, I knew exactly what I did. I knew how to walk into a room. I could answer all the questions and help clients knowing what I know. But then transitioning into this business was that scary fear part. So starting with the voice, starting with your mission, your values, your goals, your vision. A coach of mine gave me a 5-minute exercise in the morning. I think it's 5 questions, but it starts with what's your goal? Like, what's your vision? What's your vision? Not goal, like your vision. What do you want for your life? What does that look like? And spending a couple minutes every day and just really literally writing that out. What is the vision that you want to have for your life? What are those core values, the things that you stand for, that you believe in, that are no, you're not going to compromise on those things. And so for me, it was making this decision that I had to build something where there's money in it, right? Like we want to be able to provide. So that's an important part for me. I want to be able to have a bit of flexibility in my job because I'm a mom. And the reason I wasn't live yesterday is because I was able to go to this Young at Art program for, I don't know, an hour on a Tuesday to go learn this art thing. And then on Thursday, I'm going to my son's class for an hour and teach the kids and get to be a participant in his school. And that is quite a luxury. And I understand the privilege of that opportunity. And so, but that's what I want to build in my life. And those are the things that I write down in my vision. That's the manifestation. That's the future thing that you are trying to achieve. And that's the stuff that if you write it down and you concentrate on it and you focus on it, that's what manifestation means as the first part. But the second part is the doing. So in this journal prompt exercise, it's right, like what's the vision, what's the goal, and then what's the steps that you did yesterday to achieve that. And I love that question because that is like making us sure that we are paying attention to our wins and the things that we did and the things that we accomplished. Like I went to an event last week that was a Thursday night after work. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't want to go, but I got invited to this event and I needed to just go. Like, I don't know. Do I know there's going to be a client there? No. Do I know what the opportunity is going to be? No. Is it a great networking opportunity? Yeah. So I went and I'm so glad I did. I mean, the doors that opened to from one step to the next step to the next step, right? You never know where that's going to come in. So that was a win. So I write that down as like a win. I went there, I met somebody new. I add that in my mind, on my list to my contacts. That's a future opportunity. And so from that, that's the action, that's the win that you had last week. And then what's the next step that you're going to do to get to that vision every day? And not like a slew of things. There's actually a really great, I'm going to close this door. I'm going to pause just a second. I have no idea if any of you can hear that, but my husband's making coffee and it's really loud to me and it's distracting me. So hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So where was I? The next steps that you're going to get there. So Warren Buffett has a great exercise and I feel like it's called the not to-do list. Yeah. I have a video on this from like 5 years ago on my Instagram when I was really very first starting to do content, the not to-do list. And I love this exercise. But essentially, Warren Buffett, we all know Warren Buffett, like one of the richest men in the world, right? Like this man knows about money and how to do that thing that I'm talking about. Not just the visioning, but the doing. Okay. So he says to like write down all the goals that we want to do, take a couple minutes, say 10, 15 minutes, and just write it down, right? Like all the things that you want to achieve, all the things that you want to do, all the vision for yourself. And then you take that list and you circle like the top 10 things, right? Now you got to like really whittle it down. The top 10 things you want to achieve, the top 10 things you want to do. And then from there, I want to say he says cut it down to 1. I could be wrong. Maybe it's like 3, but it's like 1 to 3. And that is so hard. That is so hard to like really nail in on the 1 to 3 things. I really should have looked this up beforehand, but I go look it up. It's Warren Buffett's The Not To-Do List. And he talks about really nailing it down to that specific thing that you want to achieve. And that is how you're going to get to that vision that you want. That's how you're going to get the action to that vision, because you're going to be so focused on that one thing that you want to achieve. And everything that you do is going to be the action to get there. So the first step in this to me is understanding your voice, understanding your values, understanding your mission, understanding your why, understanding why are you doing all of this? What is the goal that you want to achieve? What does that vision look like? And so an action of that and a way to do that is going to be, an example would be going to an open house. Go walk the neighborhoods of the house that you want to live in someday and walk that neighborhood. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? So I do this. My story is my husband and I do this pretty much every single morning. Our son goes to school right down the street from us, but it's technically a different neighborhood. We all have those neighborhoods, right? Like you live adjacent. I say, we're so-and-so adjacent. That's what we say in LA. It's kind of an LA thing. I'm Hancock Park adjacent. It means you don't live in Hancock Park. You live right next to it. And that is way cheaper to live right next to it than to live in Hancock Park. It's just an example. I'm Beverly Hills adjacent. Things like that. So I'm adjacent, okay, right next to the neighborhood that I someday will live in. It's on my vision board. It's on my vision. It's what I write down in my notebook constantly. I want to live in that neighborhood. And so having that as my vision, having that as my North Star, what are the things and the actions that I'm going to do to get there? And what does that feel like? So after we drop our son off at school, most weekdays, my husband and I take 15, 20 minutes and we walk the neighborhood. Like that's not that long. It's not that long of the day away from it. But, drop off is 8:15. We are at our desks by 9:00. I'm showered and in front of you guys at 9:30 in the morning. So it's an easy thing, right? It's 20 minutes of 30-minute walk around the neighborhood that we want to live in. And we look at these houses and we smell it, we feel it, we know the neighbors. Hi, neighbor. Someday we're going to live in this neighborhood, right? It gives you that feeling, and that is an action of driving to that next level. So I would love to hear of anyone else who has done this. What are some actions that you have done of the vision that you have for yourself in order to experience that? Another way that I like to describe this myself is climbing a set of stairs. Okay. Everything that we accomplish is another stair. It's another stair. It's another stair. It's another stair, right? You've got your first job in corporate. You got your second job in corporate. You're starting to make a little more money. You got another promotion. You've got these things start happening in our lives, in our business, in our careers, but you have to then get balanced on it, right? We have to get our footing again on each stair that we climb. And that is difficult to do every single time because you just keep having to find your foundation again. And that's okay. That's just part of it. And I think we forget that a lot. It's like we feel so uncomfortable, like going after that job that we really want because it feels unstable, or feeling like you just got something and you made more money than you've ever made before. And it's scary. And you're like, oh my God, what do I do with this? I'm not sure what to do. How do I invest this money? What do I do with it? That's getting on that next stair. There's a saying that, people who win the lottery, like, blow it all. Yeah, like it's like 90% of people or something crazy. Like, people who win the lottery don't know how to handle the money. Like, they're physically unable to handle it, and they give it all away or lose it or gamble it or whatever, and it's gone. And then they feel more comfortable again. Yeah, like, human psyche is fucking hard. So one of the ways to get over that is by stair stepping, feeling comfortable on that stair, and then taking that next step and feeling comfortable on that stair and feeling comfortable on the stair. Or ways to hack it. A hack of that is what I'm talking about, where you go into that place, that thing that you want, and you just feel it. Another example of that could be like when I say to myself, I've said this for years in corporate, dress for the job I want, not the job I have. And so I would, not expensively, but I would like shop at Express. Okay. I would go to Express and I would buy all of the like dress pants and button down shirts. And that's what I wore for years because it was professional, but it was like a pop of color. Like, I had pink dress pants in my first like 1 or 2 years of working in corporate. Like, they're dress pants, but they're pink or purple. And it was so fun. Like, I loved having that flash of, that flare. It was not super expensive, but it gave me that like power move, like dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So that's another example of like taking that step, like kind of getting used to being on a stair step, or like going and testing a step and then coming back down and then going and testing. So by the time you get to the next step, it's completely stabilized, right? So I'm going to end my live today. We're right about 20 minutes. And I just want to say that as a ask to you, so I try to end these with like a challenge or a tactic. So I don't just want to like be on these lives talking about business and then I'm just jabbering away, or maybe you guys all like my stories. I hope you do. But a takeaway for you and an action and something that I did that helped me tremendously is setting that vision. Do the Warren Buffett list, like write it all down and narrow it down to that 1 to 3 things. Get that vision going, like have that vision there. And then what are 3 steps you can do this week to get to that? And those don't even have to be big things. Like, honestly, it could be going for a walk in the neighborhood that you want to live in. Like, that's an action. An action doesn't have to be something, go close a client tomorrow. Like, yeah, that's fucking hard. But email a client, email a prospect, pick up the phone, call a prospect, do an ask video. I have an ask video on my feed. Go check it out. How to do an ask video. Do an ask video. That would be an amazing tactical thing that you could do. So again, what's your vision? The Warren Buffett, I'll put a link in the notes to the Warren Buffett not to-do list. And then again, 3 actions to get to that. All right. So I will be back on tomorrow, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going live pretty much every weekday, unless I got, some unforeseen circumstances or some business thing that I got to do. But 9:30 right now, PST, I'm going live. And ask me questions. Ask me questions. All right. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.